All right, so today's lesson starts with rhyme scheme. So go ahead and make sure you have that open in your Notability. So how many of you guys have heard of this term rhyme scheme before? Maybe in your Spanish language class? Anybody? Some of us have had it a little bit. All right, so obviously we're going to be dealing with rhyme, and we've talked a little bit about rhyme. We've even talked about internal rhyme. What about when you have a sound that rhymes in the center of the word but not the end?
Assonance.
There we go. We've talked about this before. So this is actually going to be talking about end rhyme. Okay, so I'd like for you to make a note of that on your Notability right now. We're going to be talking about end rhyme. And so when we talk about rhyme scheme, we're talking about the pattern of a rhyme. So please put a box or a star or a highlight or a circle around the word pattern, because that's what we're going to be looking for or creating. So when you do this, this is kind of like sing-song. These are kind of sing-songy examples in the beginning to show you, and they're not always going to be this easy, but I want to make it obvious for you to see to start with, okay? And the way we mark it is by letters of the alphabet. So every time you have a sound that's the same at the end of a word, it gets the same letter. So let me give you some examples here. This one, I once knew a man who needed a fan. I went to his house where I found a mouse, and so I simply ran. I went so very far away. So in here, what words rhyme together? What has end rhyme?
House and mouse.
And rain.
Okay, house and mouse. What else?
Man,
Man, fan, ran. What about away?
YSC.
Ah, you've noticed it. What about away?
It doesn't have any, right?
It doesn't have anything that's happened so far, any sound that is repeated so far. So when we have man and fan, the very first sound we hear is an at the end of the word. So you mark it with a letter A, because that's the very first. It could have been numbers. The way we do it is letters, because that's the very first sound. If I hear that sound repeated again, I mark it also an A. So how come I have an A for this next one?
Look at it's also
Because it's also an and sound. Why do I have A down here again?
It's
Also an and. But how come I have B for these two red ones, house and mouse?
they're different.
Because they're different from the first one. But why are they both B? The same as each other, but not the same as the first sound. Okay? And that's why C is next to away. It's the next sound that we have. Now, if I had continued this poem, could I have put stay and marked C also? And so I ran so very far away, I simply did not want to stay. If I had done that, what would stay be?
C.
C. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. And this is kind of a basic skill that we're going to build on, because our next part is sonnets. And I know you haven't heard of it yet, but don't worry, we're going to get to it. So I'd like for you guys to go to the, actually don't scroll down yet, let's go to the next one. I think, therefore I am. So I'd like for you guys to read that silently to yourself one time and see if you can mark the letters on it. See if you can mark the letters on that one. Remember, just like the first one, whenever you hear the same end sound, the same end rhyme, you're going to mark one letter, and you're going to stay with that letter until it changes. Do this individually, and then we'll talk about it at your tables. All right, let's pause for a second. This one might have been easy to do inside of your head. But just like assonance and alliteration, I did hear some of you guys kind of mumbling. Why would you have to mumble when doing these sometimes?
Because you need to find the
Sound.
You need to find the sound. So this one's pretty easy to do in your head. But I even heard on a simple one some of you guys mumbling. So what does that tell us about things when they get more difficult?
You have to do it more often.
You have to do it more often. What's the it? Well, you have to do what more often?
Pronounce.
Pronounce or say it out loud, okay? So, I know I asked you to do it yourself, silently, individually, but I'm glad some of you guys broke that rule so that you could hear some of these things. I think, therefore, I am. What letter should we start with for that? A. Quite sure that I like? Spam.
A.
Or maybe I like? Oh, I sound like Sam I am. Two? This one, good catch, but we're not going to go there. This one does rhyme with this. However, we're looking for the last sound. So we don't need to double it up.
Okay.
We have all A's here. If I continue with this poem, it might sound a little bit boring, but I could very well continue with ams until I run out of am words. And it would be all A. So let's look at the next one. I'm going to have you guys do this one below it, but I'm going to have you try to read it out loud with a partner. So I'm going to have you guys read partner line by line. We practice reading line by line. Read line by line.
But do we
and
write
see
like
what
E
you
or
notice.
A again?
What do you say?
So do we?
This is a different poem, so what would you start with this time?
A.
A. Every time you start a new poem, you have to do a new letter. So this is a new short poem I like. So with your partners, what are you going to be doing to start?
Read it.
Read it line by line so that you can do what? Listen and hear the syllables or hear the sounds at the ends. Let's go back to this one. I like to bike. I'm going to wait for you guys to listen. If you're listening, clap twice. If you're listening, clap once. Okay. So what did we discover for this one?
It's like A B B C C D.
B. And as I saw at some of your desks,
D.
you have this one. So notice that you can go all the way down the alphabet until you end the poem getting new sounds. Okay? Let's look at the last one down here. Holy cow.
Oh, I want to live
Holy cow. You want to do roses are red, violets are blue? Is that what you said, Patty?
No.
No?
Well, I want.
Okay, well, we'll skip that one and we're going to the last two. So these are the last two I'm going to have you do right now. Now, if you're listening, clap twice. Now, I would like for you to turn away from your neighbors. Turn away. Backs to your neighbors. Backs to your neighbors. Okay, I would like for you to do holy cow and if you like me on your own. When you do it, you may have to say the words out loud. Why?
You might understand it.
You might understand it. Might understand what?
The sounds.
The sounds, okay? So you're listening for the sounds. Turn away. I should hear a lot of mumbling. I should see a lot of marking. When you think you are finished and your partner is also finished, what will you do?
Sure.
Share. Turn around. Turn back towards each other and
What
share.
we're doing, roses are red.
We're doing both. We're doing holy cow and if you like me. We're skipping roses.
No.
Holy cow and if you like me. Oh, you can do it. So I've come around to your tables, but let's just all make sure that we have the same answers. If you're listening, say no's.
Nose.
Okay. So let's do holy cow first.
Holy.
So this is one I wanted to try to trick you on, and some of you fell for it, because when you read these words out loud, even though they look the same, do they sound the same?
No.
No. So this first word is holy cow. So what letter do we mark because it's the first sound?
A.
A, because it's the ow sound we hear. What does this next line say?
Take a boat.
Bow.
Take a bow.
I still got that.
It's not a bow. It's a bow. Okay? So it says take a bow. Is that the same sound as cow?
Yes.
Okay. But don't bend to.
No.
Ah, so this word is not wow. It is low. Okay? So what do we do since this is a new different sound? Something? With a B. Okay. So let's go down here. If it's a show you've been. Oh, let's wake up. Let's try it again. If it's a show you've been.
In.
Okay. Do we have the in sound yet?
Yes.
Yet? We have it already? Where?
In.
No.
In here. Do we have it already said somewhere? No. So what do we need to do?
But cow and bow does.
This is not bow.
Bow.
Bow. How do you say that in Spanish? Like,
Valencia.
I don't know. I don't know. But that's what it means, to take a bow, like that.
Do you
Okay?
like that?
So it looks like it's going to rhyme,
For the longest time.
or it looks like it's going to be the same all the way through, but they're not. If you're listening, clap twice. Okay. If it's a show you've been in, do we have anywhere else that has an in sound?
Yes.
Where?
Grin.
Grin. But don't steal the.
Go. B.
But why?
Low.
We already have that sound somewhere else. And give a big.
Smile.
What letter do we do?
D.
Why? Why do we do a D here?
Because it's C already.
Because it's the same, it's a new sound. It's not the same as any of the ones we have. Then leave after A. What letter goes after Y? Because?
Smiling wild.
Smile and wild. But don't stumble on your big
B.
B. How come not E?
Because it sounds the same as low.
Because it sounds the same as
Low and
show and low above. Okay, so this is the one I saw the most problems with when I was coming around, was this, because you have to remember to try to say it out loud. If you don't know the word and it sounds weird, maybe you're saying it wrong. Ask somebody. Mark your lids on, please. If you like me, please invite me to your party tonight. What do we have for the first 3 lines here?
A.
A. B. Well, why? There's this word party and me sound the same.
So it's not the end.
It's not the end. Good, Carol.
So even if
So where are we looking in the line for the sound? The end of the word. That's why we're talking about end rhyme here. It's the end of the sound, the end of the word at the end of the line. Okay? So, to your party tonight. I won't ruin it. What's our next one? It is a new sound, or have a big fit. What sound?
C.
C. Just smile and laugh a lot. So let's be friends until the world ends. What do we do for these two?
D.
And always think of each other. Okay. All right, so I'm going to ask you to do something for me. I've given you a marker on your desk. Now, this poem can be silly. It has to make a little bit of sense. But it can be silly. I'm going to ask you to write me a poem. Quickly, with A, B, C,
Patty made a
C,
party.
B.
What?
A, B, C, C, B. Write it on your desks right now.
Patty.
Write it on your desks right now. A, B, C, C, B.
Oh, we have to write A.
Write that on your desks right now. So you're going to write yourself a quick poem. Now, you might be wondering, oh, Miss, I can't think of any. I'm going to wait for you guys again. Miss, I can't think of any rhyming words. First, you may use very simple ones since we're practicing for this. But before you do that, I would like for you to go to your haiku so I can show you something that's on there. Go to your haiku on my page right now. Go to your haiku on my page right now.
Super Patty made a party. Super Patty made a party. Carol wasn't invited. Carol wasn't invited because she's searching.
If you're listening, say marker.
Marker.
If you're listening, say lid. I'd like for you to be on your haiku right now. I see some of us are there and some of us are not. I'm going to wait for all of us to get there so I don't have to say this again. On your haiku for Wednesday, it says, rhyming dictionaries to use. Raise your hand if you've used a rhyming dictionary before.
No.
All right, Maneri.
This is a fun tool
I've used one in Spanish.
that helps you rhyme words.
Maneri.
Okay? It helps you rhyme words. Now, the difficulty comes when you have double syllables. Patty, patty.
Or party.
Party, hardy.
Pat.
But it's different if you would say patty and party, because just the very end rhyme. When you have a word that's a double or triple syllable, it's best to try to get both of them. So I'd like for you to be on your haiku right now, and I'd like for you to click on the one that says rhyming dictionaries, this one, the first. Click on this one, the first one. This one, the first one. Oh, I lied, guys, I lied. Click on this one, the second one. Yeah. This one, the second one. Sorry. The second one. So yours looks like mine. Rhymer. Does yours look like mine?
Carol.
If it doesn't, get the other one. So it's going to ask you a word to search for. Search for rhymes. So if I put in
Carol.
party.
No, Patty.
No, I don't want to do party. We already do that one. Party. I want you to, I'm going to wait for you guys again, because otherwise you're going to be very confused for tomorrow's activity. If you click on this, you can do last syllable rhymes, which would just be the E, or you can do double rhymes. So I'd like for you to click on double rhymes for party.
Carol doesn't remember him.
Click on double rhymes. And then click rhyme. Do you have some words that you could rhyme with party?
Hardy.
Smarty, hardy. Now, if you don't know all those words, I guess you can't use all those words unless you figure out what they mean. Now, there might be easier ones that are single syllable. So, if you look up single syllable, hat, and you just do the end rhyme,
Oh, it's gonna be one.
there's going to be a ton. Okay? At, bat, brat, flat, scat, flat, that, sat.
Can we use last syllable?
If you're doing a double syllable or more as the end word,
Like patio.
you need to do the double syllable. Okay? So you can also look at some of these. If you're doing double syllable, or maybe even more, at the end you need to rhyme double syllable. Okay? So I'm asking you to write A, B, C, C, B. Have it written on your desk right now. Have your rhymer open. Your poem can be silly, but it needs to have this rhyme scheme. It needs to have this rhyme scheme, this pattern. All right, folks, I want to clarify something quickly. Some of you have this idea, some of us are still stuck. If you have a word, whether it's your name or something else, and it has two syllables, Tom, me, okay? If it has two syllables, I'm telling you, strong rhyme means both of these need to be rhymed. So Tommy could rhyme with
Money.
mom, me.
It also rhymes with money.
You might be out of luck if you're using double syllable words unless you use the rhyming dictionary. So it's probably going to be more difficult. But if you use a two-syllable word, you need to have a two-syllable rhyme for that. Okay? So use your rhyme or dictionary to help you with that. All right, so the second thing, if you're listening, clap 3 times. Oh, thank you. If you're listening, clap 3 times. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is some of you are discovering, especially with your names, if they are of Spanish sound or using the language of Spanish for your name, it might not know it in the dictionary, right? So another technique that you can do, Soleil, I'm going to use yours, right?
Okay.
So, for instance, Soleil's name is this. Right, but she's other than like mole sauce, okay? She's not going to be able to find words. In fact, she put it in there and it didn't know how to rhyme this, right?
I put my name on the word dictionary and it caused an error.
Right, so it doesn't know how to do it. So what I said she could do, and this is a technique that a lot of people use, including we talked about this with Eminem. A lot of people divide it into 2 and then rhyme both words. So this is so, and this is lay. So what rhymes with so? What rhymes with so? Bow. Like bow. What else?
Crow.
Crow. Low.
No.
Glow. Soleil, what else did we say?
No.
No. Okay, what rhymes with lay?
Way.
Lele Pond.
Way.
Guacamole.
Bay. Guacamole.
Lele
Ooh,
Pond.
that would be a good one.
But Lele Ponds.
Chipotle.
Lele. Soleil.
Say. It could. So what if Soleil can't find anything to rhyme with both syllables? She can break it. She could say, my name is Soleil. Don't call me anything else. No way.
What? That doesn't make sense.
No way. It doesn't make sense, but it rhymes. So the idea here is, yes, as we get going, we're going to make more sense. Today I'm focused on the rhymes. Okay? So other than guacamole, she can't find anything, but you can divide your syllables. And you can do a single syllable here and a single syllable there, as long as they both rhyme. Okay? So Take the two to make a new sound, but it's got to go with that double syllable above and double syllable below.
Miss Yates, is it